What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Glad to have you guys here today. And today we do have a little bit of a red day. Let's go ahead and pull it up. We have down 1.4%. We have 10 minutes left in the daily candle. So it will end up being red. But what an amazing bounce back from this crazy dip down. Basically came down, retested off of this triangle pattern that we've been tracking for a couple of days now, decided to make a retest of that and then powered itself back up, getting back above our 14 exponential moving average. Can it hold? We'll be checking on that. We're still looking to see, can price break back above our 50-day EMA? When and if it does, there will be a major decision to be made. Now, obviously, we had this crazy sell-off, which was pretty impactful. It did jump all the way down back below the 14 exponential moving average, but it is battling back like we just talked about. If price does make its way up above the 50 exponential moving average, we will then be watching, does it retest this and take off, or does the potential of that downside play out happen on XRP? And if we jump to the 4-hour, we did talk about this the other day about how the 4-hour had been invalidated. The actual 4-hour bearish signal had been invalidated. The signal from my indicator here, it did end up playing out anyway, which is pretty interesting. Thought it was going to make its way all the way up to the daily, but it did not. So we'll jump into the weekly, daily, 4-hour charts today. We'll look over at the algorithm. It really played out. That 4-hour scenario played out significantly. The 4-hour bearish 50 EMA, boom, broke hard, huge on Ethereum. And it also played out up here. There was a big traffic jam as far as all of this goes up here. The 4-hour bearish EMA from 1126. It did play out as well. And in fact, I mean, we're looking from 16,500 dropping all the way down. We'll just go to here, 16,050. So basically a $500 drop on that right there. Pretty large move for the day that day. So we'll jump into the charts here in just a minute, but let's go look at what's going on in the news. So jumping over here to Crypto Panic, looking at trending right now. Top headlines, let's take a look here. Over $643 million in Solana now controlled by liquidators as part of Alameda Research bankruptcy process. That's really, really bad news for Solana because it's just up in the air what's going to happen. Are the liquidators going to liquidate, or are they going to keep the coins and just try to sell them OTC? Are they going to put them on the market? No one really knows. Solana risks crashing hard as Binance terminates trading pairs for Solana based on exchange Serum token. So obviously not good there. Another shot from CZ taking out the FTX basic, the baggage that FTX was carrying. FTX held a huge amount of Solana. Now Binance does not want this dumped on their platform, liquidating that over there. Fidelity begins opening retail Bitcoin trading accounts. That's actually pretty interesting. That's pretty bullish news there. Cardano price prediction as smart contracts on platform grow over 300% in 2022. We take a look over here. Cardano is still sitting at 30 cents. With their failed stablecoin, one of their stablecoins, there is a stablecoin number 2 has been doing much better. But stablecoin number 1 did have a crash just a couple of days ago, and it's completely unreplaceable or unfixable, Charles Hoskinson said. The biggest, most powerful news of the day, BlockFi is crypto's next domino to fall as it files for bankruptcy, which is very, very sad. A lot of people obviously involved in that as well. But again, because of FTX, a lot of people, there's more dominoes coming, guys. Just be very careful out there. Not your keys, not your crypto. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Do not buy or sell anything we talk about on this channel. But my personal opinion is to move your crypto to a wallet, a hardware wallet. If you have one, like a Ledger or a Trezor, or at least get it into a hot wallet off of an exchange, whether that's MetaMask or Trust Wallet or any of those types of situations. Elon Musk's Twitter takeover will bring 200 million more users to crypto, says crypto creators Charles Hoskinson. And then China's civil unrest could push Bitcoin below $16,000. So again, there's craziness going on around the world. People are freaking out about stocks, freaking out about cryptos, trying to get out of everything if they possibly can. We did have, with the Elon Musk Twitter deal, we did have Doge had a pretty severe pump to the upside over the last couple of days, which was pretty exciting as far as good news in the market. Some other top headlines out there: Bitcoin capitulations abound. Data shows realized and unrealized losses at record highs. So people, I believe it was over 50% of people holding Bitcoin right now are currently showing a loss. A popular Bitcoin saying is, you cannot lose it if you do not sell. So unrealized losses track the entire Bitcoin market versus total market cap. The November 2022 56% unrealized loss is the largest in the current bear market. In 2014 and 15, unrealized losses hit an all-time high of Bitcoin holders of 86%. That means most people bought Bitcoin back in the day at its all-time high and rode it all the way down to the bottom. The current unrealized losses are the fourth largest in Bitcoin's history. There it is. Hash ribbon miner capitulation confirmed, triggered by the $10 billion FTX fraud and subsequent collapse. Bitcoin miners are now going bust as hash rate is trending down. It is now more expensive to mine Bitcoin than it is from what they get from getting the rewards of a Bitcoin. All right, and so if you guys remember last week, we also talked about GBTC being the next domino to fall. That was incorrect because now we obviously know BlockFi was, but they are still on the chopping block. And it says here, controlling shareholders' stake in GBTC are highly illiquid per report. And it's net good news for GBT shareholders and FUD fighting, says Selkis. So Twitter, tweet over here. And again, if you are not on crypto Twitter, I'm telling you, you are missing out. You got to get over there. Even if you don't use social media that much, or if you're a Facebook user only or whatever the case, obviously we know you're on YouTube. And thank you very much for being a member. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below. Let me know 777 if you're feeling bullish, 777 if you're feeling blessed. Are you ready for a market turnaround? I know we are for sure. This is absolutely crazy what we're experiencing right now. I've never been through this. I've been through all of crypto. Well, I got into crypto in 2015, so I've been through some crazy stuff, but I personally have not experienced anything as we're experiencing now because these are major, major situations happening. We are obviously filtering out the crap. This had to happen. Lots of coins. You guys heard before the market started going down severely, 98% of coins will not survive this, right? Well, personally, I didn't think that was the case, but now it's starting to look more and more like that because major, major projects are going under. What's really interesting, though, I am seeing a lot of these smaller market cap gems. They're still working. They're still building their games and things of that nature they're working on. Obviously, everyone is not investing in those smaller cap gems because obviously it's a little scary, but everything's down, and Bitcoin's down nearly 80%. Ethereum's down over 80%. So crazy times right now, but we are holding. So let's see here. No, DCG and Genesis can't dump their GBTC. That's part of their liquidity crisis, but also net good news for GBTC shareholders and FUD fighting. Why? In public markets, there are rules. So DCG bought nearly $800 million worth of GBTC shares since the premium flipped to a discount in early 2021. DCG's board authorized up to $1.2 billion of share purchases across Grayscale Trust. In light of the current liquidity issues, the remainder is likely on hold indefinitely. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, the largest Bitcoin investment trust in the world, is currently trading at a discount to net asset value of 40% due to liquidity issues surrounding its operator, Genesis Global, and rumors of insolvency surrounding its owner, Digital Currency Group. It is said that Digital Currency Group bought nearly $800 million worth of GBTC shares since it began trading at a discount to NAV. The firm and its affiliates now own roughly 10% of the trust's outstanding shares. Grayscale also published a letter signed by Coinbase's CFO and CEO of Coinbase Custody, showing that it currently holds 635,235 Bitcoins under custody in Grayscale's name. even though they did get that letter, they are not showing their proof of reserve. So Grayscale and GBTC will not show the actual proof on the books of what they have in their reserves, but they do have a letter from Coinbase saying that Coinbase is holding their coins. All right, so let's jump over here to the actual charts for XRP, and we got a little bit of a mess here, but I did want to, first and foremost, before we go anywhere, we do have right here our 1100-day EMA. So you can see right here, that line is there. That's important because price, if we do get a pump, would likely return to that zone there. That's also one of our supply and demand zones. So we do have those there. All right. So I wanted to point that out. So what else do we have on the charts here? First and foremost, we are currently on the daily charts here. As you can see, this was last week's daily open or weekly open. It had a nice pump to the upside. And unfortunately, this week started with a downside move. But again, like I said, the bulls did step in today at the end of day, start making that move back to the upside. So last week's candle was a nice pump to the upside. This week's candle, we didn't quite make it up anywhere yet because the candle literally just started today. But we would like to see it moving all the way up to the daily 50 EMA. This was back on 11/25, and then that's the real decision point there. Because if we go to the daily, if price can make its way up here, hold as a support, we can then start making our move to the next level. If not, if price does get up to this level and then break back down, we could have a pretty significant drop for a long period of time. Now, what we do have is right now the fact that the 50 exponential moving average has already worked as a resistance, which is what we've seen here. And we had the 14 exponential moving average acting as a support, but as of yesterday and now officially today's new candle just kicked off, we've broken below that. It is now acting as a support for this beginning of the day. So to the downside, we'll see what happens here. So let's jump into the indicator and see what it's telling us on all the different time frames. So looking at the daily, it is bearish. That's what our indicator shows. But what needs to happen is price would have to come up and above this 50 exponential moving average for a massive, massive down move. Will that happen? No one really knows. We're going to have to wait and see. If you guys remember, our 4-hour indicator had flipped bullish right here. It had just just a smidge. Literally, it was 2 or 3 candles that had flipped to a bullish scenario, and then it made this big fat run, that institutional pump here. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's go here. 4 hours. So right here, it had just turned positive, right? So it was just a couple of hours, and then it started making its way down, and it did make the break. Even though it was not a confirmed 4-hour signal here to the downside, it did play out that way. So unfortunately, we lost all that momentum that had built up. Now we are looking at a potential downside momentum for the 4-hour candles. And what that would look like is price could simply rise up a little bit here and then have another fall to the downside. So breaking above that 50 exponential moving average, or that doesn't even really have to happen in reality. If this 14 exponential moving average decides to cross over, that could be done this next 4-hour candle or the one after. That would be showing some pretty severe bearish indications there. You can see last time the 14 got above for a second, dropped back down. We already had a big fall off, but the continuation of that could happen. If we go back in history to the previous time of that, this is what had happened here. The 14 crossed the 50, and we had the real sell-off there. We are in a position that could happen again right now. So we're watching that. Also, we take a look at our RSI. We are really low. It did have to make this because obviously it got severely outside of the volatility band. We had really widened out, and then we had compressed right here, and then it just really lost it there. So at this moment, we're at a pretty important zone here because we're getting to the 50 level of the RSI, If it kicks back off of that and continues making its way down, then that's a possibility. Let's look at our trend lines. Where are we at? There is a trend line right here. So again, if this starts to break and then we break the trend line, we could be on our way down. Let's get rid of this weekly open. That doesn't matter anymore, but we've already tested this triangle, so it bounced out. We could be doing the little dip over and then the pour down, coming back down to our daily supply and demand zone, 34 cents here. That would be the downside mark. Hopefully it catches it there. If not, we could see continued drops all the way down to that 26-cent level. XRP 1 hour is a mixed signal, so there's nothing there that we can use as far as what my indicator is showing me. So let's look at the 1 hour. The possibility is it just runs up a little bit more over this 1 hour and then makes its drop down there. Also, we do have a little bit of run up left to the volatility band here. So there is a possibility we have a couple of hours to the upside. It does clear that and then breaking down. If there's some serious momentum candles, something like, these bigger volume candles kicking into the upside, we could even see a return to the 1 hour 1100 exponential moving average up here at 41 cents before the real drop happens. But the 1 hour is a mixed signal. 30 minutes is bearish and it's ready to play out now. If it doesn't play out, this could end up turning really bullish due to the fact that the 14 exponential moving average on a sharp climb has just crossed over the 50. That's a bullish cross. But my indicator, this usually plays out more often than not. So we'll see what the markets decide to do. Like I said, the new candle just started, so it could make a little pump up here to the 1100 exponential moving average, 39.40 cents. Bounce off that, then make its way down. There is room for more movement to the upside here before becoming what would be considered overbought. You can't see everything climbing up hard right now. So that's definitely a likelihood that it returns up to that level. Not 100%. Watch and see. If this breaks below the 50 exponential moving average with a candle close below, then we could see the return to the downside. Because right now, as you saw, it was reject, reject, reject. Now it's support, support, support. If it rejects down, we could see a drop. But that 30 minutes is showing bearish indications. The 15-minute is also showing bearish indications. It got back up to the 1100 moving average and look for it to drop below. So let's actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear all the charts and drawings. We're going to turn on moving average exponential. Okay, so 15 minutes. Oh, no. That's not what we want. Moving average exponential ribbon. Boom, there we go. Okay, so 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to change up my colors so we have a better, let's see, look, it's trying to make its drop now, potentially. But 15 minutes, we're going to start labeling the 15-minute as a green line. So here, put it there. Change this one to green and document this. $11.28, 15-minute, 50 EMA bear. Bear. All right. So we'll watch that, see if that breaks below there. Let's jump to the 1 hour. 1 hour, we'll continue using blue. So we'll come here. Blue. 6. 1 hour. 50 EMA bear. Oh, need to put the date on there too. 11/28. So if price rises up here, gets above it, boom, it drops. If it just continues to drop and it clears here, boom, the drop. Let's look at the 5-minute even. Let's see, what is 5-minute telling us? 5-minute is actually a bullish indication here, which is interesting because it just dropped below it. And our 5 minutes will use orange. It's 5-minute bull, 50 EMA, 1128. And then also to keep in mind here, these all could play multiple different ways. So like the 5-minute could come dip under this 50 exponential, make a run up above the 1 hour, and then make the drop down. Or we're getting some serious bear momentum all of a sudden piling down. Let's look at what does our 1-minute indicator show. 1-minute indicator was bullish, and now it has just invalidated bullish. But look at this. It just ran down to its 1100 1 minute. So sometimes it'll bounce off that and move to the next level. That was the only one. It had already dropped below all of the others. So let's watch this 1 minute, see if it rejects. Or if it just powers through and starts that 15-minute sell stop. Okay, so that's dropping. We got the 1 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour again. 4 hour, we'll use yellow. And the 50 exponential moving average is here. It never went above it, so that's still something to keep in mind. Yellow. 4 hour EMA. 1128. And then we'll go to the daily. And daily we'll use red now. And it would actually have to get above that for that to work out. All right, so 1128 daily 50 EMA. So that could still play out. I mean, right now we have this smaller time frame stuff playing out. But again, price on my indicator still needs to do this. It needs to move up above this, then come down. That may not actually end up happening. The 4 hour one, you can see it did get to the 50 exponential moving average, just rejected. It never made it above again. It made it above here and then made the drop. But right now it is showing 4 hour bearish, but it has to, for a technical move from this indicator, it would have to get above that, make the drop. Going back to the 1 hour, it never got up to the 1 hour, just rejected off the 50 there. The 15-minute, it did get above it, but it did not make it below our 50 exponential moving average. These do have to be adjusted as time goes on because the moving averages change as well. But that's what we have right now. So just keep that in mind. So bearish 15-minute below 38.5 cents. We got a 5-minute bullish scenario. If this turns around and starts ripping up right here, if it pops above 38. So check this out. Right now, look, if this breaks above the 50 exponential moving average, it may start the day off by running up to this level here. We'll check back on that. Jumping over to Ethereum on the daily. All right, so let's check what do we have here. So yesterday, we were talking about on the daily 50 moving average is all the way up here. And it has dropped, obviously, since we were doing the video before. It did not make it there. So we go down the time frame below it. We go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour, the move did happen. It got above the 50 exponential moving average. Came here, look at 4 hour bearish 50 EMA. Boom, 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 passed down. Came and tapped right into our daily supply and demand zone at 1157. Now we'll have to adjust that because it's here now. Let's go to the 1 hour. Oh, we also have to change the color. The 4 hours, we're going to change that to yellow. Okay. In fact, let's clear everything. There we go. Okay, so we'll start here on the daily and we'll go up to the daily mark of the 50 EMA will be here. Red indicator daily. I'm not going to do all the other stuff. I will do the dates. So we remember that tomorrow. By the way, subscribe if you want to see how these indicators played out and what's happening. So that means price would have to get all the way up to 1312 before doing a U-turn on the daily. Now we drop to the 4-hour charts. The 4 hour is going to be a yellow indicator right below the 50 moving average. 4 hour on 1128. Bear. We do want to label this as the bear. All right. So 1312 on the daily. 1188. Price needs to get above 1188 and then drop, or in that range, for bearish on the 4 hour. Dropping to the 1 hour. The 1 hour we will use blue here. 1 hour, 1128. Ethereum's 1 hour just flipped bearish. So that will be bear now. Let's go to our 15-minute. Right here, we're going to change that to green. The 15-minute is bearish as well. Bear 15-minute on 1128. And we'll even drop to the 5 minutes. 5 minutes is super bear. It's just bleeding right now. So we'll just pass on that. We don't need that one. All right, so a quick rundown again. Daily is bearish. 4 hour is officially bearish. The 1 hour is officially bearish. The 30 minutes is officially bearish. So everything is bearish right now. We would need now some bullish momentum coming back in for a couple of hours to start flipping some of these lower time frames, starting at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. But right now, everything's just bleeding red. Check back tomorrow, and we'll see if anything had flipped over there. Okay, so looking at Bitcoin, it was the same scenario as Ethereum yesterday. It had a 4 hour play out, so it got above the 50 exponential moving average. Our indicator showed bearish, and it also made the flip to the downside. Let's go ahead and clear all of these out of this here. Indicators. We're using our moving average ribbon, which is their 14 and the 50. The 50 is the most important one. That's the one that we keep track of the most. So our daily 50 exponential moving average is here, red, and that's at 16,477. Even if it gets there, it's still bear. Dropping to the 4 hour. Oh, that is the 4 hour. My bad. So 4 hour has got to be yellow. We'll go back to the daily here. The daily is all the way up there. Has to get back to 18,000 for a daily bearish move to play out. And that's bear on 1128. Let's go to the 1 hour. All right, and going through the Bitcoin signals on this indicator, daily is bearish, 4 hours bearish, 1 hour is bearish. So even if price came rising above here and then did a drop, it could still be bearish there. And then looking at 15 minutes, 15 minutes just made a bearish move. So you'll be able to see it here. So if we look at the 15-minute, you'll see how price obviously was bearish anyway, because all this bearish momentum has been bearish below the 50 for so long. It pops up above the 50, a drop. Pops up above the 50, a little micro drop, but above the 50, the move plays out. So it played out here, and it could even climb back up again and play out again. So on the 15-minute charts, we're going with green here and here. 15 minutes going to be green. It's also bear on 1128. All right, so looking at Bitcoin, it's also bearish. All of my indicators are showing bearish right now. Even if price climbs all the way back up to 18,079, it has a chance of coming right back down. On the 4 hours, it plays up to this level here at 16,477, then could do a U-turn. On the 1 hour, it could run all the way up to right here, 16,300, and then do a U-turn. And then as we know right now, the 15-minute one just played out, and it could play out again. Price just comes back up and keeps on recycling over that. But we also remember, as price continues to climb, bullish moves to the upside, it can actually start to gain momentum. Once it claims the 15 as a support and moves its way to the 1 hour, now we are looking at bullish scenarios, which will play out the opposite way. Come back tomorrow. We'll see if any of them have flipped to the bullish scenario.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.